Okay, good morning, afternoon, or whatever the time that you watching this presentation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tarsisius Aderiswanda. My student number is 142233557. Today's presentation, I'm going to talk about the comprehensive risk management of PT Aneka Tambang, TBK, or we are knowing as Antam. Around the next minute, we'll review Antam business, carries our prioritization method, and actionable recommendation that we give to Antam. So let's talk about the first. This is the company overview. Antam is founded in 1968 and listed on ADX or AFX. Generate around 9.19 million US dollar revenue in 2024. The growth is around 68 per years on growth in the fourth segment, that precious metal, certified refining on LBMA, especially that very hot right now is nickel, bauxite, yeah, and coal mining. This diversification is drive growth but at operational complexity. Especially we can see it here in since the annual stock growth is around 115.53%. It's kind of big number. Now we talk about the Antam core business, yeah, like I'm talking about previously, and then we're going to talk about this risk identification, compliance, and control. In risks were scored on 1 to 4 scale for likelihood and impact, then multiplied. For example, it's like an anti-corruption violation score 12, like we are catastrophic, and make it our top priority. This quantitative approach ensure objectivity prioritization. Especially we can see in here there is around 4, that compliance risk, control risk, regulatory and environment, supply chain management and risk. This is the thing that important for that I found is the anti-corruption and governance failure. It's kinda having a very high score. And then in here we have risk identification hazard. That's around 4 point on here. It's manning operation disruption. Like there's some accident, equipment failure, natural disaster, and the other. And then we have commodity price volatility, like exposure to fluctuation in gold, nickel, and the other. It's almost certain, and the impact is kind of moderate. And then we have the environmental and safety incident in here. There's a contamination, like workplace accident and ecological. The likelihood is kind of possible, and the impact is catastrophic. And the strategic investment risk is a poor capital allocation in the quick capacity expansion or challenge like the pending closure of the Pongkor mine in 2026. It's kind of likely, and the impact is moderate. The next priority on analysis is top priority is anti-corruption violation, like I noticed before. At the first, this is very important because this risk is demand the most critical due to its high likelihood and the catastrophic impact, supported by substantial real world evidence. So the likelihood is likely, it's like we already saw it so many times, like the drug control failure, anti-corruption violation, and strategic investment risk. It's almost certain, like the supply chain management risk and the market volatility risk. The impact is catastrophic, like the anti-corruption violation, environmental and safety incident is really dangerous. And then we have the severe, like regulatory compliance, internal control failure, and operational disruption. This is the case study that I found in my paper, the 1,109 ton gold corruption scandal. This is very big. At the time before, the scandal involved the unauthorized use of Antam brand and LBMA certification on third-party gold product, creating a massive financial exposure and reputational damage. In 2010 to 2021, the 6 former general manager conducted an unauthorized gold branding operation worth around 145.6 trillion rupiah over a decade. Wow. The legal consequence, of course, Attorney General's Office prosecution of 6 former executive. Asset seizure around 7.7 kilogram gold bar. Wow. Agents under regulatory scrutiny. Crisis response, the CEO is implemented crisis communication, of course, emphasizing product genuines and fuel cooperation with law enforcement. And then the number 4 is a governance reform, expand board oversight, strengthens the audit risk commit, and implement a comprehensive anti-bribery management system at or we know it as ABMS. The cultural and market takeover in here we have around 2 points that break to 3 and 1 point. The first one is cultural transformation initiative. We have company-wide ethic and integrity program, and then we have established anonymous blowing system with protection guarantee, and then we have regulatory stakeholder communication forum and comprehensive ESG reporting. In the market resilience, we have, despite, we already talked about very negative reaction about what happened in the past. Antam stock is demonstrated remarkable recovery. Who knows? Because they get a growth around 115.53% annual stock growth and 154% H1 2025 revenue growth. It's one of the most top market revenue growth that happened in this year, and that's very wow. I mean, like, can you imagine, you just get a problem in this past few years, and then you can just go up again. You have a quality in there. Antam have quality on there. Even they have a problem, even they get a corruption, even they got so many problem, selalu banyak masalah ya. But they still can take it. Mereka masih bisa memperbaiki itu, dan kemudian akhirnya bisa membuktikan they can prove that they can still grow even they already go to the lowest point of their company. This is demonstrate the operational resilience and investor confidence in remediation effort. That's a very good point on what we saw in Antam, especially me. This is the bow tie analysis operational, and we have this. This is the threat, preventive control, mitigative control, and consequence. In here you can saw is the threat is a mechanical equipment failure, natural disaster, landslide, and flooding, and then we have infrastructure failure, human factor, supplier contractor disruption, and the regulatory permit issue. In preventive, how to be preventive it, we have asset maintenance program, we have geotechnical monitoring, we have infrastructure redundancy, we have safety training and procedure, and then Antam have supplier management and compliance monitoring. So the center of the operational boutique rise analysis that I analyzed in here is the mining operation and the production disruption. In the mitigative control, we have emergency response, we have business continuity plan, we have insurance coverage in here in Antam, they have stakeholder communication, they have environmental remediation, and they have post-incident learning. And the consequence, if this didn't happen, they will having a production loss, they will have a financial impact, they will have a contract penalty, they will have a safety incident, they will have an environmental damage and reputational damage. Of course, Antam didn't want to repeat again what happened on the past few years, because it's very not ethic, and just it's very embarrassing for a company like Antam doing something like that. The center is even is driven by a factor like a mechanical failure and natural disaster leading to a consequence such as production loss and financial impact. And on real case, in here I found that Freeport, especially Freeport, Indonesian landslide impact. So why I choose Freeport? It's kind of interesting because in the September 2025 lately, Grassberg Bluff Cliff landslide at PT Freeport Indonesia demonstrate the materialization of operational disruption risk for Antam. There's a 3 point on here. The first is immediate impact. It's complete disruption of mining operation at the world's second largest copper mine, resulting in a 7 worker fatality. Damn. And then we have Antam exposure cause 66 reduction in Antam's project gold supply, approx 30 tons, forcing increased reliance on import. And then we have financial effect. In here, estimate revenue impact of around 50 to 25 billion rupiah and increased procurement costs. Production recovery not expected until 2027. Like, wow. So, because of this, the incident is highlight the critical need for agent supplier diversification, early warning system, and rapid crisis communication strategies. And what the recommendation that and we can I give to Antam beside the race bautai and the other to strengthen Antam risk posture, we have three term, yeah, of course, three. There's short term, medium term, and long term. The short term, of course, to complete the compliance program, run crisis drill, and audit high risk area. And then the medium term is due to deploy fraud analytics, set governance benchmark, and launch transparency and initiative. In the long term, of course, we need to stabilize the mining ethic institute, like ESG metric or compensation, and then lead to the industry traceability standard. And then yeah, that's what make Antam going to can go to stroke their very low point, their crisis pace, so they can really going to take so many opportunity to mining the to get an how to just giving an optimal output that can they give to everyone that uh, terlibat untuk mereka semua yang terlibat dalam praktik yang dilakukan oleh Antam, entah sebagai dan entah dari stakeholder, entah dari masyarakat, dan kan sampai para pekerjanya. Oleh sebab itu, of course, I think that's all from me. Thank you and see you in the next time.